Welcome to the Beskar Briefing, episode 8.
So today on the Beskar Briefing, we are talking about something that I feel like everyone has been thinking and no one really wants to talk about.
Yeah.
We're talking about the death of superheroes.
The
And I'm not
end
talking about
of the era.
Superman fighting Doomsday or something like that.
Yeah.
We're talking about the fact that now we're now in an era where we are pretty saturated with superhero content.
Yeah.
And we think it's about time for that to end.
The
Well,
end
let's
of the
talk-
superhero.
We can talk about all of that and more on this episode of the Beskar Briefing.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Okay, guys, heavy topic today. The end of superheroes.
Heavy time.
The end of an era.
So I think we should talk about this. We should preface this obviously but first by saying, I mean, I feel like I say this almost every single episode. We are nerds, true and true.
Yeah.
We love superhero movies. I don't think there are many superhero movies that have come out that I haven't been super excited for.
Yeah, and that we watched.
That being
Probably watched.
Oh yeah, and that we watched. I don't think there's a single superhero movie that's come out that I haven't watched yet. That being said,
Oh, here we go again.
we have had a lot of superhero
There's
movies.
a lot. There's a lot, man.
And
Out of money.
to the point where, like, if you think about the most anticipated movies that are coming out in a year,
It's superhero
at
movies.
least one of them, if not more, is going to be a superhero movie, and that's just the norm now.
I think it's like an
it's-
average of
it's-
3 that nowadays. Every year there's like an average
Yeah.
of 3 that you're excited about. Like next year, what's going on next year? Like this year too. Let's just say this year. So we have Wonder Woman, whenever that will release, however that will release. We have Black
Same thing with
Widow,
Black Widow.
and then we have Shang-Chi or yeah.
hmm
Then the Ten Rings.
We have Doctor Strange,
Strange.
and Love and Thunder on
Love
the
and
horizon.
Thunder. We have the 2 superhero shows that are going to be on Disney Plus: WandaVision and
Mhm.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there's just a lot.
No, exciting, isn't it?
And on the DC side, we have Stargirl coming out or on CW right now. That's
Yeah.
still coming out.
Which is,
Pretty sure Flash is still going on.
yeah,
right
all
now,
the Arrowverse shows are still going on. I don't think they'll stop anytime
except
soon.
for Arrow itself.
Yeah.
Ironic.
So sad, by the way. So sad.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good
Alright.
ending though, but yeah. Anyway,
Alright,
well, do you want to go first or yeah, just go first because I don't
I
know.
mean, I think that I feel like we can just jump in and talk about this as need be, but like,
Yeah.
I think it's just fair to say that the market is kind of saturated right
It
now
is.
in superhero stuff.
So
It's
the first time I started
Yeah.
thinking about it was with an interview with Dacre Montgomery, who I know some of you, especially a lot of nerds, will know as Billy from Stranger Things. He was also the Red Ranger in the new Power Rangers reboot that they tried, which all the actors did an incredible job, but the story sucked. So, but yeah, everyone commended the acting, which was actually really good for sci-fi, you know, something like fantasy sci-fi is. But yeah, the acting was kind of really good. So he was discussing about that, and he was talking about why Stranger Things resonated with him because it was sci-fi horror. And it had some elements of superhero, you know, with Elle and all that, but she's not the superhero. Like they rely on her, sure, but she's not. Like she can get injured, she can die too. Like she's not invincible storyline, right? But I think he was talking about why he was drawn to Billy, and why Power Rangers didn't work, because he was talking about both of those, and he was like, Billy was talking about, like, you know, he's just a guy. You know, he's just a dude in the story, and he's a jackass, and he's corrupted. You've seen Stranger Things, right? So he's like corrupted and all that.
Yeah.
And so he has some power because of that thing, but it's mainly that thing using him as a vessel. You understand that. And then in Power Rangers, it's more like, again, it's a superhero type of trope. It's, you know, a group of superheroes trying to come up and defeat this big bad thing. And he was talking about how it's just been done. Story was done. They had nothing new to offer, and that's why the story was bad, but the acting was good. And I see that with the last few superheroes things that I've seen, in terms of let's see. What was the last superhero to be introduced? The last few, the most recent, I guess.
I believe, was it Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah. And I don't know, I wasn't as fully invested as I would have. As I didn't like Spider-Man Far From Home as much as I did Into the Spider-Verse, or as much as I did the Spider-Man game. So, to say that I don't think the movie was as good as the animated movie or the video game.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And Spider-Man's really such an easy character to do. Like, it's really easy. Like, it's really hard to mess it up. And I don't think they messed it up. But I don't think they did anything overwhelmingly cool with him either.
Mediocre?
Like, the ending was cool where he's revealed. But that's probably going to be fixed. And I think that's the problem with now what's going on with Marvel and DC. Is that it's the same story. And when they're introduced, it's the same story, right?
So I want to jump in actually and talk about it for a second because
you won't stop talking!
One thing I will say, and I guess I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here, is that the reason why I think there is hope is the exact same reason why the comic book industry has been around for so long.
Yeah.
Is that while, we have had a lot of these, hero's journey stories that all kind of culminate to the same thing, one interesting thing the comics do is that they will decide to put a character in a situation that is unlike anything that we have seen before.
Yeah.
For example, and I think they could do it with this next movie if they play it smart, is Spider-Man could be at Public Enemy #1.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Quite literally, it could change. Like, with Spider-Man 4, I would... my absolute... Or Spider-Man 3. My
almost like Batman,
dream,
where he's hated by the that'd be
exactly. It would kind of be like a Dark Knight Rises type deal or something like that, where Spider-Man's gone. Spider-Man is afraid to show his face
Cause he's fuck ugly.
because everyone's after him now.
Or he's like a murderer. Or he's like
I actually had a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine mention something that I thought would be really cool. What if Captain Marvel, who is now the quote unquote leader of the Avengers, what if she's going after Spider-Man?
Oh shit!
Yeah,
And
that'd be cool.
Unlike Superman, who Superman would want to bring him in and tame him and things like that. Captain Marvel's a no bullshit type of person.
Yeah.
What if she's trying to kill him?
No,
she recognizes.
So
you're talking about
things. You're talking about like an Injustice almost feel, where it's like you're talking about laws and people getting out of control. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like an offbeat type thing. Yeah, I think that could work, and I think that's why people are so excited for James Gunn's the Suicide Squad, which is going to come out, and I think that's why people are excited about The Boys. And so this question was originally, let's just talk about that, was originally because of The Boys creator who was like, it's time for superhero stories to end. Because I don't know if you finished The Boys. I don't want to spoil anything.
I've only seen season 1, and I like what I've seen so far, but I gotta keep watching it.
I'll just tell you, season 2 is just more of the same of like, just anti-superhero establishment, right? Like, even you can get that from the show. I'm not spoiling anything, but I think that's things. If they want to continue in that sense, sure, I think they can do that for another 10 years. But I don't know if they can really build off of what they've done so far and just keep doing the same stories. Because Thanos, let's be real. When Thanos died, part of the hype for Avengers died.
Yeah.
I don't think people are as excited to watch Black Widow or the other Marvel things. Other than the true, nerddom that, we're a large nerddom, but I don't think people are the general public is as excited to continue watching those films. And media.
I honestly do kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
I think what Thanos had, because Thanos was the epitome of, now we don't know, now that the heroes have lost, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But now it's been done before.
Exactly.
And it's going to be very hard for Marvel to really match that again. Like, it's... What are they going to do? I mean, they could bring in Galactus, but Galactus is almost, like, larger than life, like, way too...
Exactly.
he's way too powerful, like to actually
And it would just
to
be
feel like the heroes have any chance.
And Galactus isn't really a villain where he has a justification either. Thanos had a justification, right? Overpopulation. Look, people are suffering. What's the point
Yeah,
of even
that's true
allowing?
too.
Like people
Galactus
are like,
is just a destructive power.
yeah. So what's the? I think that we've seen that people don't like those type of villains too, where it's just like, oh, they're just villainous because they're villainous. It's like that doesn't make any sense. Like people aren't just bad.
Who's bad?
Bad's from a point of view,
Right.
You know, even Sidious, right? Like even Darth Sidious to go to Star Wars is like, you understand him to a certain extent, right? Like he's trying to. The Sith aren't. I mean, they're bad, sure, but they're not. They are their own culture. They're their own entity too. So they have their own reasons. Like Sidious isn't out to kill everybody. He has his own Sith cult. He just lusts for power and attention, right? But in episode 9, he has his own cult, so he's not killed them, right? Like he needs them. He understands the importance of teamwork. So, whereas Galactus, like you said, it would just be hard to bring in because it's just the Force, and he's just like you said, larger. He's just a planet eater and just does destruction. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And so,
and that's the thing too, is that like we're now in a weird position where we've covered a lot of big superheroes.
yeah,
What the hell are we gonna do after that? Because
right.
these big hero names, they're gonna want to keep using them for some money.
Money!
Like
Exactly.
At the end
And
of
so
the day, like,
I don't. So the question is, should it be the end of the superhero era? I think yes, but if the question isn't, is it the end? Because we know that's a resounding hell, though, because there's too much money to be lost. Right.
Right.
Like it's just
that is a resounding.
another thing, like the new Batman thing.
There's definitely no way that they would do that.
Right, like the new Batman that's about to come out. It looks cool, but how is it gonna top the Dark Knight? Like the Dark Knight saga was so good. It was literally what they did with Batman was turn it back into Detective Comics Batman and back into.
Also, let's just nip this in the bud right now. If I see Bruce Wayne's origin story one more goddamn
Oh
time,
my god! I'm gonna rip somebody's head off their shoulders. God dang!
They need to nip that. They need to not do that.
If I see
They
another,
need to do exactly what they did in Spider-Man,
right?
And just gloss over it.
No, just start in the middle. Start in the middle.
Start in the middle. I don't care.
Honestly, I don't even want to see Bruce Wayne's story anymore. If they start with if this is Damian Wayne, that would be dope.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Like
if it was Damian Wayne or Dick Grayson,
right?
Like one of the two.
Yeah,
that would be so.
Can we stop with Bruce Wayne, man? Can we stop? I'm done. He's a billionaire playboy dude who yeah, we got it.
Hold up, rewind.
He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire.
He's a tired millionaire. He's a tired billionaire. Let's cut him.
And that's
Let's
the one. That's the one problem with doing characters, and then doing them so well is that you've ruined it for like at least 20 years, for anyone to try and do it again. But that's part of it. You don't need it again for 20 years because for 20 years people are just gonna watch that. Right?
Exactly.
Like,
or at least they should.
Yeah. Like what should happen is that nobody should touch Batman for. Well, I don't know when The Dark Knight Rises came out, but I can search it. But yeah, nobody should touch Batman for a long ass time. At least that iteration of Batman. I want to. You know what I really want to see, and I'm sad that we'll never get it for some damn reason. Batman Beyond. Like, can we just get a live action Batman Beyond? Like, why don't they? Like,
come on.
Why don't they do it? Like, what do you got? DC,
I don't know.
what are you doing? Like,
I don't know what they're doing. Like, that would be so cool.
Like, let's talk about, because we're in this weird scenario. This fits in perfectly with this. Let's talk about the legacy of superhero. Let's make it like that's what. Back to the previous episode, Legend of Korra was the whole show was based around legacy, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't trying to repeat Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was trying to grapple with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they knew that, so they just used that to the story's advantage. Do the same thing now with superhero shows. Talk about legacy. Maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier will.
He can see things before they happen. That's why he appears to have such quick reflexes. It's a Jedi trait.
Maybe it will be
We
about
kind of see that in the Titans movie,
the
in
TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of do see that, and I do think that it accomplishes it to an extent.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's something that we could see in the big screen, and that would be a pretty good.
yeah. Even
Especially actually in the Marvel universe now, because
Yeah.
we're in a position where
It's like the second generation.
these heroes. Yeah, these heroes legitimately saved the entire universe.
Right, and I think
Now,
that's what.
let's talk about how they're doing. Let's talk about what's happening after.
I think that was cool that Far From Home was like what dealt with Tony Stark's death so much. Because yeah, if you don't, then it's just gonna be super stupid. But it did, and that was cool. But again, it wasn't as great as Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse dealt with Legacy a lot better than Far From Home did, which was sad to say. But Into the Spider-Verse was one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie, and no one will ever tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
But
and so Dark Knight Rises came out
it.
2012, by the way. So they shouldn't touch that for until 2032, in my opinion.
2032.
Yeah.
They honestly should not touch. You know what they should do?
What?
Here's what they should do. 2032 comes around, right?
Yeah.
They need to do another Dark Knight. And then they do exactly what Marvel did.
Yeah.
And spread out
Yeah.
their heroes.
Exactly.
And then bring it back to a Justice League.
Yeah.
Because I think then we would get a Justice League movie that would actually work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
And I say that to say, yeah, we are talking about the death of the superhero era in this episode, but at the same time, they fucking killed Justice League, and I need them to especially.
Yeah, this Snyder.
And they can't do it right now. That grave's already dug.
Yeah, like they're talking about the Snyder cut as if it's like the Resurrection Stone from Harry Potter. It's like it's not.
Never going to be the.
Yeah, it's not.
There's too much wrong.
It's not. There was too much wrong, and I feel bad because Henry Cavill was actually quite a great. Was quite a good Superman, in my opinion.
I liked him.
Yeah.
I liked Man of Steel.
Yeah,
I liked Man of Steel.
I think I didn't know that Man of Steel was unpopular because I thought everybody liked it because I did. I thought that was a perfect Superman movie.
I don't know why it's as unpopular as it is, but I think it's just the hate of it. Could be the hate of DC. It could be the fact that it's just Superman. It's hard to make Superman an exceptional movie just because it's Superman, and Superman.
I thought that was a pretty good movie. I give that like an.
I thought it was good.
I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Like it was fighting. Okay, graphics were great. Story was great.
Mm-hmm.
Acting was great.
Yeah.
You can't tell me the acting wasn't superb. Even Lois Lane's acting.
The acting's
Okay,
not hard.
acting was probably the best part of the movie. And then fighting sequences are great. Originality was great.
Thought the fighting sequences.
Dragon Ball Z.
If whoever directed Man of Steel
Dragon Ball Z.
directed a Dragon Ball Z
DBZ movie. Hire those
we
guys.
talked about this in an
Yeah,
earlier
we talked about
episode,
this
but,
earlier.
like,
It was perfect because it was like the thing about it was the thing where they like
so
clash
cool.
and go
So
back,
cool.
right? Yeah. It was the thing in
was so
air where they
freaking
clash
cool.
and go back. So yeah, it was definitely perfect.
Yeah, I wish they did that. Someone needs
Honestly,
to do that.
they need to do a
Dragon Ball
DBZ.
Evolution.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like when we talk about the death of the superhero movie, we're not talking about just don't do anything remotely connected to superheroes. We're talking about
right, or anyone of just like exceptional ability.
yeah, we're talking about we're not saying don't do heroes' journeys. We're saying do different heroes' journeys. Because I think the superhero, where they're a superhero for people on Earth, I think that's why Guardians of the Galaxy is doing so well. And I'll connect this to the Arrowverse. So Guardians of the Galaxy reminds me of Legends of Tomorrow. And Legends of Tomorrow is basically like we're goofy superheroes. And we're going to use all the superhero tropes, but in a comedic way. Like, we're just going to, like, cast it aside. And that's what Guardians of the Galaxy is almost doing. It's, like, superhero tropes, but it's like, yeah, we don't really give a fuck about any of those. You know? You heard me? It's just,
sorry.
I think that's one way they could go. Is just make it a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? A comedy, but, like, also a superhero movie, That's what Guardians of the Galaxy
did. I mean, we kind of got that with Deadpool.
Yeah, that's why Deadpool works. That's why Deadpool works. I think making it really gritty and grimy, that's another way they can go. Like, that's what The Dark Knight did.
That's one that one I think we haven't seen yet.
The only one I can recall is Logan. Logan was the only one that was like that. And I think that's why it was so good.
Logan's good.
Yeah. But you see, I'm afraid that they're just going to keep doing the same superhero movie origin story of a superhero. Oh man, they don't have powers, now they have powers. What am I going to do? I have to defeat this smaller bad guy. Now I'm part of a team, blah, blah. It's going to happen because now Marvel bought Fox and they're going to do freaking X-Men. And it's going to be the same thing. If they don't do the political part of it, then it's going to be...
They need to do the political part of it for one thing. Second thing I will say is that adding the X-Men, I think, does help their case.
Yeah.
Because it's a similar thing as to why because they haven't done it yet. They haven't done something that big yet. And then also, I think if they add in the X-Men, they kind of have a potential to do a better Civil War than they ever did.
That's what I was talking about. So, before, like, you were going right to my point, man. Like, same wavelength, same. You, like, read my mind. Are you a psychic?
We're brothers. We're happy and...
Anyway, like, Civil War worked so well, right? Like, everyone loves Civil War. They think that Civil War is the best the best movie in the whole MCU. And they just stopped the conflict after one movie.
Right.
Like, it was only between Iron Man and Captain America having this, like, weird little feud because he didn't tell him, which I agree with Iron Man, but, like, he didn't tell him that his mom was killed by Bucky. Like, yeah, you gotta mention that, boy. But, like, they stopped, like, the feud of, like, the political differences. They stopped that. The moral and philosophical. They just stopped it completely after that movie. And I was like, because they were like, oh, because now Thanos is here, which is fine because he's the great unite. But now if they don't,
fine, yeah,
but they're not going to go back to they haven't gone back to it yet.
That's true. They haven't gone back.
And
to
X-Men
it.
is the only one. X-Men's whole storyline is basically just that, right? There's 3 groups.
Yeah.
There's the X-Men.
That's fair too. Like they really don't, because like when Spider-Man goes back.
Yeah.
Both times, because literally both Spider-Man movies take place after Civil War, and they never talk about this.
None of it. And so, X-Men's whole...
which is messed up because technically Spider-Man's not an Avenger.
No.
So that's one thing we have to take note of. That he's not an Avenger
in this MCU.
But
yeah.
In the MCU, or rather, I will say in his first standalone movie in Homecoming, he is not an Avenger.
Yeah.
Just in terms.
And then
of
even after that, he's an Avenger in Avengers. I think Infinity War. He's like.
He's an Avenger.
He anoints him.
He's like an Avenger.
He like Tony Stark anoints him. He's like, here you go.
Yeah, and he's an Avenger in Far From Home.
Yeah.
Now the issue that I have with that is just simply they don't ever mention the Sokovia Accords again.
Yeah.
But he's still I'm going to use the term metahuman. I don't know what they would use for, I guess, a mutant.
Right.
But I don't know what they would use for Marvel. I guess superpowered individual.
Yeah.
He's a superpowered individual that is unchecked by the government. They should definitely be on that, and they're not.
Yeah, they don't talk about it at all. I just don't know what they're doing now. You know what I mean? They seem a little like they have 5 separate storylines going on. Like, they seem a little disarray. Like, a little in disarray.
That kind of makes me mad. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about, like, I'm still thinking about the fact that they just don't talk about this.
No, and literally,
kind of makes me mad.
And literally, that's a huge part of Marvel. And you just did it in one movie, and it wasn't really like that. And then after that, they're still unchecked. In fact, they're probably doing more destruction than they ever did.
Hulk! Smash!
And so, yeah, I don't get it. Maybe that's what X-Men will bring in, the mutants thing and the whole thing there's 3 groups in X-Men, right? There's the mutants, there's like the mutant extremists who are like, we're better than humans, and then there's the humans, right? And so the 3 of them are trying to like eventually you'll see like this mutants helping out the humans, but then also you'll see the humans turn against the mutants, and then the mutants are it's like Malcolm X group, and then like Martin Luther King group, and then like white people. and so that's like the 3 groups you're seeing in that. And so that would be really interesting to do, but I don't know if they'll do it. Because I'm afraid they'll just use them to incorporate more characters into the MCU. Like, I hope that's not what they do. Because if that happens, I have a feeling I'll be turned off a little bit, and I may stop watching some of the movies. Like, I'm like, as I think about it, like, even Arrowverse, like I'm caught up with Arrowverse, but you know how difficult like they're ending Supergirl now. They're ending Supergirl because they want to.
Really?
Yeah, they want to bring in Superman and Lois Lane, and I'm like, dude, that is not what you guys should have done.
Nah, that's not the right.
And
move,
John
in my
Diggle
opinion.
is supposedly, you know what happens? Like John Diggle is supposed to become Green Lantern or something, and that's
Well, I like that.
and
just
yeah,
'cause I like
and
Green
that
Lantern.
show is not yet even greenlit. I'm like, what?
That bothers me.
You guys greenlit Superman and Lois Lane to have a full season instead of Supergirl. And John Diggle we still don't have a Green Lantern show. We still don't have Arrow and the Canaries.
Things that we've already seen. Like I thought that was the whole point of Supergirl because we had never seen it yet.
Yeah, and
Like
it's ending after next season. I mean, I know that I think the main actress. Congrats to Melissa Benoist. She's like pregnant, so she married her co-star in this. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, she's pregnant, so I don't know if that has anything to do. I don't think so. But they're ending the show, which is weird to me.
May the patriarchy go to hell.
Because I felt like they could go for at least 2 more seasons. Because the Flash is still going, and I'm like, the Flash needed.
The Flash is going.
The Flash needed to stop
Flash
like
needed
last
to die
season.
after. I think the Flash could have stopped after season 3.
Yeah.
After Zoom.
Oh yeah. The Flash is still going for some
I would have been
reason.
satisfied with that.
The Flash is just a dumpster fire now. Black Lightning is interesting because you know it. I think that's the only unique show they have other than Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Batwoman had a terrible first season because it had a weird storyline, and now she left. The main actress left, Ruby Rose left, and now they have a black Batwoman, which is awesome. Maybe the show will pick up. You know, sometimes.
Do they at all are they gonna explain why there's a new Batwoman?
I think Kate Kane is missing.
To...
Like the main actor, the main Kate Kane is a different story. It's a different character, and now the main Batwoman is missing or something. And so like you know how Luke Skywalker is missing. So I don't know how that'll work because she's not coming back. So.
Yes, we are going to have to recast your old part.
Yeah, they were way too invested in Kate Kane because they made her like a paragon of strength and everything, and now she's not even in the show. So
I gotta say, yeah, like they don't. I don't know what they were trying to do because even in the comics, like, not to diss Batwoman, but Batwoman is not a huge character.
No, I don't know. I didn't really like. I don't think they should have ever done anything Batman related for the Arrowverse. To be honest,
I would have preferred them to have never touched Batman.
Yeah,
I genuinely.
I think it would have been very cool to just leave Gotham as like a little they're in they mentioned like a little aside, like they just mentioned Gotham or like Gotham's crime rates are definitely going up, like something like that, and just talk about that.
And why not put in Nightwing?
Yes,
let's go Bloodhaven.
Yes,
let's do some shit with that.
Bloodhaven. Granted,
I want the female empowerment. I want to see more female.
But there's definitely better. They're definitely better characters.
But there are better ones. Barbara Gordon. I think.
A Barbara Gordon show would have been dope.
Yeah, Barbara Gordon would have been a better pick than Kate Kane.
Yeah.
I don't even think Batwoman ever really takes over for Batman in comics.
She's just a different.
She's just another part of the Bat family.
Yeah, I think
But like
Barbara Gordon would have been really cool
better.
because it could have been her grappling with her father being a cop and all that, and again
basically
Legacy.
What they did with Kate Kane, except it makes more sense.
Yeah, and Legacy, the story of Legacy, a little bit more, like living up to Jim Gordon and all that, and so
I think that would have been. I think that could have been.
They tried to in Batwoman, but it didn't work. Because again, they tried to.
And the reason why I think Barbara would have been better is that she could bring in other characters.
Yeah.
Like she could bring in Nightwing. She could bring in Red Robin.
Another thing that's happening with Batwoman is that she doesn't really have any other superheroes helping her. It's just her.
I'm all alone.
Yeah, it's just her. Which, granted, Batman works alone, but Batman also has a lot of super friends.
Yeah. And so the thing with the Arrowverse is all the Arrowverse shows, every single one, they're a team. They have a team, each people. So Supergirl has a team of superheroes. And by the way, Supergirl was so this is why I give Batwoman still a chance. And even after this season 2, I'll give it a chance because they had to replace the main character, which is difficult to do. But Supergirl had a pretty okay season 1, and then CW like bought it over from CBS, and then from season 2 onwards, it's just been on the rise. So from season 2 onwards, it's been great. Stargirl has been really cool. So another thing that I think they can really do is go back to high schoolers and superheroes. I feel like they're going into adults a lot in all these things, and they're missing their target audience almost. It's like, why did people love comics? It was because a lot of them are just high schoolers and comics. So I think Stargirl is really doing that well. It's because there's high schoolers and they're superheroes. I think they're missing that opportunity. Like Spider-Man, right? He's in high school, but they're not really focusing on him in high school.
I mean, that's kind of why Shazam was as popular as it was because Billy Batson was just a kid.
Right, and you're hitting your target audience. And I didn't even think Shazam was that great. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was good, but it wasn't great.
It was a fine movie.
Yeah,
I liked
it was a movie that you were like, oh yeah, this is a good superhero movie. But that's it. It's like it's just another superhero movie. That's what I felt like. And that's why I'm excited.
It's better than a lot of the current DC movies.
Yeah, I know. It was one of the good DC films, so that's why I give it. But I'm excited for movies like Black Adam that The Rock's gonna do. You know.
And so real quick, is that gonna be his own movie, or is it going to be?
It's gonna be.
Is he gonna be the villain of the Shazam movie?
No, it's gonna be his own movie, and then I think they're tying it into.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, because he's been working on that movie for like 8 years or something.
Oh, I know, because I remember when he was like cast.
Yeah.
And then we just heard nothing about it.
Yeah, so that I'm excited to see him because I mean his can go either way. It can be something. It can be the best thing you've ever seen, or it can be a complete flop. So that's usually how the Rock movies go. But yeah, I don't know that they should really try and focus on other stories with superhero things, and that's why Shang-Chi. I think Shang-Chi is gonna be so cool. Shang-Chi, was it? I need to find out the official name. Is it like Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings or something? Because I think they're actually doing the Mandarin or something.
7?
Huh? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 10 Rings. Yeah. I'm super excited for that to actually happen. Because they're actually doing the Mandarin. You know, the actual Mandarin supervillain in this one. Not the fake one that was in...
Right, not what Iron Man 3 was.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I liked Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I did too.
But that wasn't the Mandarin.
Yeah, it was funny. Iron Man 3 was funny. It's kind of funny. But yeah. And I like Simu Lee, who is the main character or main actor, because I've seen him in the TV show he's in, which everyone should watch if you've not seen it. Kim's Convenience, which is like a Korean family who owns a Korean or a convenience store in Canada. So you should watch it.
I'm gonna watch that. It's
on Netflix. Everyone should watch it. I think it has like 4 seasons. It's freaking hilarious. But yeah, he's in that, so it's pretty good. So I'm excited to see him in that because he's a pretty good. He's fit. He's like a fit Asian dude. Like I'm happy that he's getting some sex appeal Asian dude. You know, so.
What did he say?
In mainstream media. So that I'm excited about. So I think they should really focus on diversity if superhero films are to continue. And they should focus on offbeat superhero films. So Deadpool is for one. They should focus on things like Suicide Squad. They should focus on, maybe movies from the villain's point of view. Like Black Adam may be like that, right? Movies from the villain's point of view. Maybe they even lose, at the end. That would be something.
We got like Venom.
Yeah.
And I think Venom's a cool movie.
I thought Venom was kind of fun. Really cool. A lot of people didn't like it, but I did. I thought it was fun. It was funny. It was
a little more superhero-y than I was expecting, but it was funny.
It was offbeat though. It wasn't it wasn't the common superhero tropes. So
which I like. That's my biggest thing.
Because again, Venom is like public enemy number 1 still, right? Like Venom's still an enemy in the eyes of everybody because he like bites some cops' heads off and stuff. So, so it's like he's not totally good. So yeah, I don't know where superhero films should. They're gonna continue, but all I know is if I see another origin story, I'm gonna puke. And I know we're gonna have to get through some just to introduce some characters, but I just kind of
exactly like that. Like we were talking about representation, and that's going to be a big thing. Is that we're going to have a lot of
origin stories.
Origin stories still.
Too many.
And that's going to have to be something that we got to power through. Honestly.
Are you good?
Honestly, they should just start in the middle, like you said. Like for some of them, just start in the middle. Like they're already established in their own right, and just do something with them.
One of the things that I did like about Into the Spider-Verse is that we technically, I mean, we got an origin story because we saw Miles become Spider-Man. Yeah. Like all the other characters, we got their quick synopses and we jumped right back into it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. It wasn't like Justice League where we didn't know shit about the characters.
Yeah,
and we still don't know shit about characters at the end.
Oh, like the Flash movie that's supposed to happen? I feel like that's just gonna be.
There's a Flash movie that's gonna happen? Nope, not watching.
Okay.
I'm not paying for that.
We'll watch, but we're not paying. It's gonna be on.
I'll watch it. I ain't gonna.
Don't worry, it's gonna be on TBS, bro. It's gonna be one of those movies, you know. It's a rerun on TBS.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 45 to 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, like a 6 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's fair. I'll go.
For comedic value, it's gonna have some quick jokes, and that's it.
Right.
It's gonna be a weird.
Dang,
movie.
you kind of nailed it on the head. I was about to say, yeah, 55 sounds about right.
55 sounds about right. People are gonna commend
then,
like some side character.
6.5 out of 10 on IMDb sounds like.
It's me, Joker.
Like I like how accurate I'm getting with the ratings on these.
We gotta post this soon because we gotta be there when we said we told you so.
Yeah, we told you so. But yeah, I gotta get to editing this.
Right.
All right. What else would you want to say about this? Because I don't know, man. I'm kind of turned off with superhero films. I don't even watch them anymore because, like, I don't rewatch them because I'm just like, there's so many are just coming out, so many TV shows. Like, I can't even rewatch any to like really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, like we've been saying for the past however long we've been recording this video now. The big problem is that we're just oversaturated.
Yeah,
it's
just too much.
Legitimately, when we think of overcoming adversity or dealing with a problem or something that is just, you know, like a journey at this point, it's just superheroes. And like, that's what we think about. Anticipated movies is superheroes now. And while I like that, like I like superheroes as much as the next guy, I think it is time for us to find a different storytelling medium.
And honestly, if superhero films ended like next year, like if they just stopped for like 5 years, I wouldn't be mad. Like I wouldn't even be like, oh, they're stopping. I wouldn't even be upset. I wouldn't even be disappointed. I'd kind of be relieved.
I would be a little relieved.
I think most people are.
I think it would be.
Yeah, I think most people are feeling relieved. I think most
it would make for a much more. It would make for a much fresher atmosphere.
Ooh, thirsty, are we?
And I think next time we would see a superhero movie, we would be a little more open to the idea. I think if I see a trailer for a superhero movie next month, I'm gonna be a little burned out. Yeah, I'm probably, unless it's like one hero that I just absolutely love.
And I think that's the thing is that
mind blowing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that most people have a hero that they want to see but haven't seen yet. But I think I really do think that the films aren't focusing enough on diversity that they can use that as an excuse for continuing, because there's not enough diversity for them to continue to do these films. Like if they talked about this, if they cranked out like
we talked about that.
Like if the next 8 out of 10 films had a diverse character as the lead and a diverse cast as in totality, then they could use that as an excuse. But they're not. It's like 1 out of the next 5. And so that's why we're getting oversaturated, even to the point where we're like, we'll give up on diversity because we don't even want to see the next 4 to just get to the 5th. Right.
Now that being said, I think we did talk about how important it is and how important we think it is for
we need it.
Society as a whole to have this representation.
We need it, but we're not getting it enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
even with the death of Chadwick Boseman, there's so many people who are now like,
right.
We just got the
Black,
the kind of first look at what a black classic.
It's not even black though. It's just an African, right? Like, that's why it works so well. It's because now, you revere the African culture.
People and children who look like that now feel represented a little bit because before they didn't have a lot to go on in terms of looking like that, like seeing themselves in those characters, and now they do. I think and same thing with Captain Marvel. It is important to be able to, for a young girl to see that yes, I can be this superhero figure.
Even this I think this Black Widow film that's coming out, like I see the importance of it too. Mm-hmm. But it's weird that they're doing it now because they're going, we know how she died. We know she's dead. And now they're doing it. Almost feels like a filler episode. Mm-hmm. If there's ever been a filler film, this is it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how
I feel like they took way too long to give her a movie.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it, and
it's a filler.
I'm excited for it for what it is, but I will say, it is.
I mean, some filler episodes and filler movies are great, but it's a filler. It's a filler movie though, because they're going back into, this is between Civil War and Avengers: Infinity War, and I'm like, huh? Or this is between Winter Soldier and Civil War, and it's like, but why are you going back?
Right.
That far back at least. It would have been better to go back. Why didn't they did a Black Widow film post Infinity War?
You still with us, buddy?
Right. That would be cool.
Yeah, but they're going back so far back in time that it's not showing her in a real leadership position. Because she's the one who took over, right? After Infinity War. She's the leader of the Avengers.
Yes.
And they're not focusing on that, so now there's just it feels like a filler storyline that happened that we just didn't know about. And it's like, it's gonna fit in, but it doesn't really make sense as to why it's being done. They should have given her a film let's be honest, they should have given her a film 5 years ago, but they didn't, so that's why.
Right. They should have given her a film as soon as we realized, because I mean, we were introduced to her in what? Iron Man 2?
After Avengers, they should have given her a film. I think most people are calling
after Avengers 1, she should have had her own movie.
And but she was just being prominent supporting character in all the rest of the films put together. And it's just like,
I wouldn't say supporting. She's like, by the time
Avengers I know, but but her like a primary, she wasn't like the star of her own film, but she was like the secondary, she was the second most important character in the film, and I was like, can you guys just give her film? And then they're like,
please.
yeah, we're gonna release it after Endgame. It's like, what? So she survives? No, she's dead. So we're going back in time, but not to when she's a leader. We're going back in time when she's an outlaw. What? What do you guys?
But why?
Yeah, but why?
Why?
They don't know what they're doing with. That's why I feel like they are in a little bit of disarray. Like, they don't know. I feel like they just don't know. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna come together in some nice story, but it's just gonna be too hectic to get there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all been done. What can they do?
It is kind of fascinating to me how people in Hollywood feel like having a female lead is such a challenge.
Yeah, what? I don't get it.
It genuinely doesn't need to be that hard.
It's really not that difficult. We saw it with Wonder Woman. It's not impossible. It's literally you can do it.
Like, it's definitely not an impossibility.
Think about it. Wonder Woman is now the DC film universe. She's it. She's the best one they have right now that they're continuing her story with. So it's not impossible to have her as.
She's the only medium that they have, as far as I'm concerned. Because that's the only good product that they release.
Yeah, like they lost Superman because he's out. Because he said, I'm done with your weird, can't plan properly. Ben Affleck, I think, is supposed to go in another one, but we've all given up hope on him.
I was gonna say, are they even gonna? Is Batfleck even really a thing much anymore?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I feel like he's not, especially since they have Pattinson now. I doubt they're gonna make another Batfleck.
He's like Clooney. He's like just like random like big name that they threw in, and it's like what?
Right, and then just drop it.
Yeah.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, they need to stop. See, that's what made The Dark Knight so well, because it was such a long time since we got a Batman movie from them. And then they decided to do one, and it was using modern technology, placing it in a modern storyline, and making it real, like almost military, you know, very detective. Very.
I thought it was just so cool.
Yeah, and now they don't know what they're doing. They're trying to compete with Marvel by doing this fantasy thing, but they came in the game so late that it doesn't work. Right? Like, if DC and Marvel started at the same time, I think more people would be happier with what DC gave fans.
Mm-mm.
But they came so late into the game because now it's saturated.
They did.
In the film game.
They really, yeah.
Exactly. They conquered the TV
tried,
game.
They tried so hard.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And again, because the market is so saturated, which this one we can't really blame Marvel for because they just did a good thing and they kept going.
Yeah, yeah.
But the fact that, like, DC tried so hard to match Marvel that they did it too fast.
Yeah.
They did it way too fast. They had Man of Steel, which was good.
Yeah.
And then they tried to bring the two characters together with
Batman versus Superman.
Batman versus Superman.
The worst movie.
Bad movie.
The worst. Absolute.
Bad movie.
Absolute awful. Garbage.
Trash!
They picked it back up with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, they were weird.
Cool.
They were like this.
They
They had this, and they had a steep cliff because of Batman vs Superman, and they picked it back up to where Man of Steel was, and all they had to do was go there. But they did freaking Justice League and dropped off a cliff again.
And they shouldn't have done that. They should have had, if they wanted. Oh, okay. So say you just want those characters for Justice League, you need to have a Cyborg movie.
Yeah.
You need to have a Flash movie.
Yeah. Or at least make them.
You probably should have a reason that we should actually care about Batfleck too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because really,
it's just
Batfleck, that was the first time we saw Batfleck, and it wasn't glowing.
And then you just were like, okay, we're just using him as the main focal point for this next movie, which was your first problem with the last movie.
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman, he was bad as a protagonist, and then you used him as the protagonist in Justice League, so obviously that movie's gonna flop. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's a whole lot more that superhero films can do other than the things we just laid out. So one, you can make them about kids again because that's who you're making them for. You know, kid problems, but also the problems of, you know, being a superhero. 1. 2, legacy.
Big Hero 6 is a good example.
Yeah, Big Hero 6 is a very good example. Oh, by the way, Big Hero 6, fantastic movie. One of my top 3. It's in my top 10 all time of films because I also want to live.
It's definitely one of my top.
I also want to live in that world. I want to live in San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco? Oh yeah.
I'm moving there.
That's just like,
as soon as that's a real thing, I'm moving. I know there's a Japantown
in
in San Francisco, so if it's, I've been there once and it's pretty close, so maybe I'll go.
Yeah, geography.
I've been to Japan and San Francisco, so I would love to see.
I've not been to Japan. My parents have, so I need to go there. I'm gonna live in Japan for like a year for sure. But anyway,
you should. It's nice. Yes. It's cool.
It's clean. I think
it's very clean. And then bathroom's nice.
Yeah, Japan. I have a Toto. Nice. I have one of those Toto. You know, bidet toilets. I got one of those. So.
Oh, bro, I gotta get one.
You gotta get one, man. Once you go bidet, you can't go back.
That toilet will change your life.
Yeah. It'll make you think, man, you used to eat with your hands all those years, bro. Those hands?
Right. Like, you're
disgusting,
like,
bro. Degenerate, yeah.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Anyway, so they can do kid things. They can do another thing. They can do legacy. So grappling. You guys are in that thing now, right? You guys are in the thing of legacy. You guys are in that little thing of like, how do we move forward? How do I live up to the past, right? You guys are literally dealing with that in real life. Why not just tackle those stories head on? Instead of trying to skirt those things, just use that to your advantage. Like, how do you live up to that expectation? Legacy, I think, is a good one. and then offbeat. So like you said, spin-offs like Suicide Squad and things like spin-off things. They can focus on those spin-off characters that people really want to see, like Nightwing. I think if they ever did a Nightwing TV show, people would literally have orgasms. So
I would be all over that.
Yeah.
It would be unnecessary how much I want
merchandise would go up.
Do we need to leave the room or something?
400%. So, like, I don't think people realize how they just don't do certain characters, and it's just like, why? Because you're just actively neglecting. And then the last thing is more representation, which I think we've already covered extensively, but you have to do, like, why can't there be 9 different movies and there's no white male lead in any of them? Why does that have why is the white man have to be the main character in all of them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't get that. I'm not saying he can't be in any of them, but why do you have to be the main character?
But it's everyone.
Yeah, it's all. How many white dudes do we have that's already in these movies?
Holy crap, this is gonna take all day.
Do you want me to count them?
No, because it's gonna take the rest of the time. So no.
Exactly.
Like I just paused so people can actually think about it and be like, damn, there's a lot of white dudes, aren't there? Yeah, there's a lot of white dudes. We don't need to see any of them anymore. There's a lot of white women, to be honest, too. There's not a lot of women of any other ethnicity.
Yeah, exactly, and that's something that I think is just as important. Honestly, is for us to have that representation.
You know who's always forgotten though? You know who's always forgotten? The Latina woman, the Latinx woman, like always. Forgotten.
You know, I'm genuinely surprised that you said that, because I would have said the like Indian representation.
Indian representation, obviously. Like I already went into this last time, so that's why I'm not even bringing it up, because I'm not trying to get fumed out here. Like they like to borrow my culture, but they don't like to borrow us. So that's fucked up.
Pow!
That's some bars right there. That's some bars. That would be on like a J. Cole track. They like to borrow our culture. They don't like to borrow us. Bang! Oh shit. Okay. Anyway, mic drop. Yeah. But the Latina woman and like the Indian anybody is just not there. They focus on, which is weird to me. India is such a big country with such a huge population, but they always focus on like Middle Eastern people more than they do India.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're either like if they're brown, they're like Muslim automatically. They're never like a Hindu. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
That's like a big thing. I don't know why. They just do it automatically. It's just weird. Do you ever get that? Like they're like from Pakistan. They're like Indian.
I've never really taken the. I mean, you have a better perspective on it than I do. I've never taken it into account, really.
Yep, but they're doing like Miss Marvel, which is like something Khan, right? And so she's like Muslim. I don't know if she's from India, but she's brown. So, but she's not from, like, they just skirt around that whole thing, the whole subcontinent. They just skirt around it and go to everywhere else, which is weird.
Which I guess is a different type of representation, but at the same time, like, if you're just skirting by it, like, that's still messed up.
Yeah. But I would love to see some Middle Eastern people who aren't villains. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why in Legends of Tomorrow, there's a Middle Eastern character. She's like a wind superhero, but she's like...
Yeah. God, what's her name?
Zari.
Ari, yeah.
I like
Zari.
Totem. I like her. By the way, great actress, because she's also like in the last season she was like she played like 2 different versions of herself, which is kind of cool.
Oh, did she? Oh,
yeah. Because again, DC has the multiverse thing, the whole parallel thing, which they can do.
Yeah, they got the multiverse thing down, man.
Which is why I did not like that Marvel decided to do time travel, because I feel like they should never have done multiverse. Like that, they don't get it right. Like, they get it okay enough where people can follow along, but they don't get it right. You know? Like, they tried to do multiple Thanoses in this Endgame, right? They're fighting the 2014 Thanos. It's like, what? Why?
I mean, like, I've seen them do it well in comics, so I was okay when they said, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. Now, do I think they did it the best? No.
No, but DC's Arrowverse does it the best. And so if you can't, like, if you're not doing it the best, focus on something else, because people are gonna compare you to that, right? Like we obviously see you
That's
trying
true.
to do that. Like, all right, I think the burning question in everybody's mind: did Captain America kiss his own niece?
Sweet home Alabama.
Is that a thing?
I hope not, Jesus.
Yeah. Did we just watch some Game of Thrones level incest on the grand
Because not
scale?
only, you know what the funniest thing is too?
Yeah.
Does he remember it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird. That's weird.
Did that happen? And then there's the whole circularism thing of like.
No, but
well,
does she know? She would
what
know,
would
right?
happen if they can-
Yeah.
Huh?
She would know that that's her uncle.
I would hope so, but
So-
I don't know because I don't know what level of involvement Steve has in the current timeline now that he's decided to go back and marry Peggy.
And
Like,
now
really and truly, I don't think the writers thought about
They
that.
did- they did
I
not.
think they just decided to do it, give Cap his moment, and then they just expected us
so
to
they
not
killed-
think about it, but we're thinking about it.
they killed Thanos, the 2014 version, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work? How does this timeline work if they killed the previous version of Thanos? Do all the events after that not happen? Are they different now?
Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different.
You know, someone asked me this question, and I didn't have an answer for them too, and then I forgot about the question. I don't know.
It's just. What do you do?
don't
What do you
know.
guys do, man? You guys should have never done that.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
Because now all
Yeah,
the events that
I mean-
happened don't happen, right? They can't. Because guess what? Thanos is dead. And his goons.
well. Again, remember how Hulk explained it is that they changing the past doesn't change the future. So what they did is that
I believe... Time out.
that
Yeah.
past.
Yeah. It's like a different... It starts from there and it's different now. But...
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. I remember now.
Yeah.
Because technically,
Yeah.
Cap then repairs the timeline because he puts all the Infinity Stones back. So it actually is as if nothing ever happened. 2014 Thanos doesn't end up coming to the future
Okay.
because
So why is
he
Iron
never
Man
tried to
dead?
take the Infinity Stones.
So why is Iron Man dead?
Huh?
Why is Iron Man dead?
Because you can't change the past, Vishnu. I don't know.
Leave the poor guy alone.
There's just... You see what I mean? They shoot themselves in the foot because they tried to establish their own way of time travel. Hello, you cannot... People, anybody who's trying to make a new movie about anything with time travel, you cannot establish your own method of time travel because the butterfly effect has been proven in the sense that it is the prevailing theory in all time travel theorists and all of space-time continuum theorists. And so for you and how things, if you affect the past, it does affect the future, right? Because guess what? Things have to happen a certain way for things to happen. That's how things work. Things are largely coincidental. So if you change things, now coincidence doesn't occur, different coincidences will happen.
Mhm.
Right? So
Bathroom break? Just give me 15 seconds.
I'm back. Alright. Cool.
I am off the back.
Alright. So. Sorry. Alright. Anyway. So, to continue. Yeah, I don't know. So there's 4 different ways that they can go about this. Focus on the kids. Focus on teens. Focus on high school stories, right? Adolescent youth.
Mhm.
Focus on legacy. Focus on how to meet expectations. They can focus on spin-offs. So offbeat storylines, and then focus on diversity. So if they have one of these type of 4 films, then I think that they can continue with superhero stories. Like how The Boys is like a spin-off, an offbeat type thing. It's like from a different perspective. It's not they're the superheroes. It's kind of injustice-y. The superheroes are the villains and stuff like that. So they're corrupt.
I love the way they did The Boys, because
Yeah.
The Boys, it's very much like, you know, it's honestly very true to form. Like,
Yeah.
if people were this powerful and this
What's
popular,
to check
one,
them?
it would definitely become a business.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
two,
it's already a business.
shitty people.
It's already a business.
Yeah.
It's already a business, right? The people,
I mean, yeah, it really is.
athletes are the superhumans of our society, right? And so they're a business. Then you have
That's true.
soldiers are the business of, you know, fighters, warriors are a business. And even the stories of superheroes are now businesses, right? So it'll obviously become a business. So I definitely love The Boys because it thinks about it's not a hero's journey. It's the more of a commentary type of film or series. So yeah, I love it. So, you know, if they can do something like that, sure. They can do something where it's about different cultures and different peoples and different ethnicities, sure. If they do stuff where it's focusing on kids and it's kid stories, they can obviously do that all the time. And they move away from some of this, like, adults are, like, the center focus. It's like, I don't think adults really need to be the center focus for these stories to work. In fact, I feel like there's too many adults. And not enough kids.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's definitely one of those things. I mean, that's definitely something that I think they need to work on. Is now, granted, it is a little strange to have like young people taking on, you know, world-ending disasters and things like that. But I think there are too many adults.
Happened in Avatar. If Avatar did it, these guys can find a way.
That's facts. That's facts.
Right?
I'll leave it at that.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to hear no excuses about. Oh, I don't know. Kids can't be superheroes. Because one of the main things that draws every nerd to Spider-Man is that they all relate to Spider-Man because they're a nerd in school.
Yeah.
And so they want to, and they like superpowers, superheroes. So they want to connect to that. What if one of them got it, right?
And ponder the question. What if?
So
Pretty much. That's a very fair point.
you know, I think they can do it for sure. One of these 4 different ways they can definitely do this. But yeah, I think that's a good way to end it. I don't know if superhero films should they end? Should superhero media end? Yes. Can we focus on things like?
Is it going to?
No, it's definitely not going to. But should we focus on other things? Yeah. There's so many stories. Like, what about Dragon Ball Z? That's like never been. Maybe they tried to do it, they didn't do it. Like, why not convert animes into live action? I know it doesn't work all the time, but there's so many use some of the stories similarly. You know.
Yeah.
You don't have to
At the very least, yeah. I think what anime does do is that it does have a lot of unique storylines.
Like, I don't know if you've seen Food Wars. Food Wars, I would definitely watch a live action Food Wars. Have you seen Shoguke no Soma? Yeah. A live action Psyche.
We kind of got a live action SAO with Ready Player One.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
that's a good movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun movie. It was different. It wasn't about superheroes. What about stories like old classics like Journey to the West about the Monkey King?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do things like that. Like the stories. Do hit mythology films. Like you talked about this before, Bradley, about mythology.
Yeah.
You and I
like,
discussed.
I want to see. We have Greek and Roman mythology, but like I want to see one. I would love to see an Egyptian mythology that's not whitewashed.
Yeah.
That's where whether we actually start seeing things with bird heads and things like that, or we see like just Egyptian people.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I would love to see. I don't know shit about Hinduism.
Bro, there's so many epics. There's so many epics in Hindu mythology.
I would love to see some Hindu epics. That would be super cool. I just finished reading a book by Neil Gaiman about Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know we have Thor,
but it's not similar to their mythology. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, it's not at all accurate. Like I would love to see. Now Norse mythology is weird.
Yeah.
Norse mythology is super weird. And they just do things and it works sometimes.
Yeah, it just works.
It would still be kind of cool.
Like Hindu mythology or Hinduism, all of Hinduism explained by mythology. We don't really have, so it's just kind of like similar to like how the Bible has stories, you know, that happen.
Yeah.
And there are characters as like multiple characters. Similarly, we have like multiple characters. And the cool thing about ours is that there's one God, but then the God has like multiple forms that like disperses throughout, you know? So it's interesting to see how these characters like interact with each other because they all have such weird different personalities. And so yeah, there's so many stories that can happen that you can have, you know, super abilities, but you don't have to have a superhero film, you know?
Oh, that's really insightful.
And I'm not saying get rid of the hero's journey completely, but dude, I am, like I said, if I have to see another origin story that's about a white kid, oh man.
Yeah, we're gonna have some words.
And we are fed up!
It's just done. It's just done, right? It's just saturated. Like, you see it. We're so exhausted about talking about it.
Yeah.
That's
why. And look. This is not a diss to white people.
No.
It's not.
No.
We're not saying that you should just no longer have representation. All I'm saying is that you've had a lot of representation.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that just stop with yours, because it's obviously never gonna stop. You guys have so much control. What I'm saying is like just include us too. Like add it. You guys will get more stories too. You guys won't feel so exhausted.
Want to tell, man.
You guys won't feel so exhausted with the stories anymore. You know? Like I'd love to see. I don't know. I'd love to see like hacker films. You know? Like what about the hackers in these superhero things?
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Like
kind of like a Now You See Me type style movie, but with hackers.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
In the superhero realms, right? Like just if you need to use the world building that you've already done, so you don't have to do it again.
Just
use
Now
different.
You See Me, by the way, is one of my favorite movies.
It's a very fun movie.
That movie
Magicians and stuff, so it's like they're not doing anything, but it's just magic. It's just illusionism, tricks, and all that. So, illusionists, there's multiple ways where you can do things where it's fantasy-like or sci-fi-like, it is, but it's not the usual tropes. And I think that's why the best, like we think about the best of the best, that's why they work so well. Like Iron Man works so well because it is the first of that Marvel cinematic taste, the first of that feel. Where you get this comedy, high glitz glam, CGI with some good acting in it, right? That was the first of that. That's why it's so classic. And then Black Panther was the first where you see a black superhero, let alone an African one, who's not talking about racism and is actually just talking about his own journeys in him of himself, right? Like Black Panther doesn't really involve racism. It involves Wakandan stories, right? African.
It involves Wakandan stories, but it actually does involve. It involves black responsibility.
Yeah,
which I really like.
Yeah, not
I really like
the bird. It's not talking about white people. White people have done bad. That it already accepts that, but it's not done it to yourself. So what if you not. If you see like these murders, of the unarmed black men and unarmed black women, but you don't know anyone personally who's been harassed by the police, or you haven't been, then you don't care. It's like, well, that's not helpful for the cause, right? It's kind of like how Wakanda's like, we weren't conquered, we weren't, colonized, so why should we care? It's like, because the rest of your whole continent was.
Because the rest of the race cares.
Yeah. The rest of the race cares, and you guys have the resources to just negate the effects of colonialism and all that. So, yeah. And so those are fresh stories, Whereas the white people thing is more like, I don't know if I have the strength to carry on. If I don't know if I'm cut out for being a hero. It's like, all right, dude. We know what's going to happen. You are. Yeah. End of story.
You're going to make it out. You'll be fine.
Don't worry, dude. You're going to make it. Yeah. So there's a lot.
Okay,
yeah.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. You're gonna be okay, dude. You're gonna be okay, Captain America. You're gonna find a way to reverse all the effects because suddenly Tony Stark figured out time travel.
Yeah, we gotta. I definitely need to I need answers on the whole did he kiss his niece? Because there's no good answer, right?
There's none.
Because either he did kiss his niece, or he got cucked.
Yeah.
To keep up the timeline.
Either he had no kids.
Either way,
he had no kids, or Peggy already had kids, or they're not going to do that to complicate things further. Or
Peggy definitely didn't have kids by the time he went back in time.
Yeah, so she definitely had kids, and she definitely had a niece, and either he did kiss her, or because this was a previous timeline, it wasn't her, and now in the current timeline, does she even exist? Or she knew that he was her uncle and still kissed him, which is even weirder.
Definitely for worse. It's awful.
Right?
There's so much wrong.
She would have seen some photos, right?
Marvel, I need answers.
Marvel, you guys put yourself in a mess, and the best way to deal with this, just don't even talk about it. Like, just move on. Don't even bring up Captain America anymore. That's what you should do. Just move on. Or if you do, talk about the legacy of Captain America with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Do not bring up this Peggy Carter nonsense ever again. And this niece ever again. Don't even mention it. Don't allow her back in. Or talk about Captain America's kids, like something different.
Right.
Offbeat. Yeah.
The ones that may or may not have parented the niece that he then kissed.
There's a lot, man. There's a lot that's not explained that they can't really fix with this time travel thing. So, yeah. I don't know how it works, but all I do know is they need to shake it up and not do the same stuff. They definitely need to produce less stuff.
Yes.
That they can do. That they should do, but they won't. And they
won't. We've already seen the schedule. They're not going to do that.
But they actually need to. Like, they're coming out with Blade now, which is cool. But if he's in the MCU, are there vampires now in the MCU? Like, what's going on?
That's going to be a whole other thing we got to talk about. That's like what are they going to... We need to... You know what this is?
What?
This is the vampire wave, but for superheroes. Remember the vampire?
Yeah. So we're coming towards it. We're definitely
everyone and their mother was obsessed with vampires.
Vampires, Twilight and everything. There's a bunch of vampires.
I think it was from 2008 to 2012. We had vampire everything.
So basically, this is just a longer vampire thing, and I think we're at the end of it. I think we're seeing.
I think we are. I think we're approaching the end because we know now. We know that this is gone too far.
Yeah, we were talking about the same thing with vampires back then. We were like, is it too far? Like, are we talking about vampires too long?
We had Twilight. We had Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. We had.
It was like the zombie thing.
Blood.
It was like the zombie thing. Remember, it was like the zombie thing. Like, it ended with World War Z.
Zombies too.
Zombie was 2010 to even now, because now nobody really. The only people who watch The Walking Dead are the same people who started The Walking Dead, who aren't really who are trying to finish it because they're like, I'm too far in, I have to finish this. But I know so many people.
Yeah, we had Call of Duty, we had Walking Dead, we had
Call of Duty zombies.
Zombieland,
Zombieland. It's too much. It's too much, right? Like, you've saturated.
World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z, which was my favorite zombie movie.
I have to actually watch it again. I haven't watched it in a minute.
Yeah, it's really good, man. Like, you rewatch it, oh yeah, this is really good. But yeah, they should stop with zombie films.
they need to stop now.
They really do. I don't know what else they can do, man. Which is why Get Out was so good. As a horror film.
Get Out.
Right? Like, this is what we're talking about. You cannot saturate a market with the same story and just repackage it. People know.
Mm-hmm.
People can tell. That's like this that's like this McDonald's thing where they're doing with Travis Scott and J Balvin, where they're rebranding the same meals they've had forever, except now it's their favorite, and now it's J Balvin's favorite meal. Now it's Travis Scott's favorite meal. It's like,
yeah, Travis Scott has one. I think
J Balvin.
I think Bad Bunny just did one too.
J Balvin did. If Bad Bunny's about to hop on, I'm about to lose my mind.
It's definitely there's some Hispanics. I literally saw the commercial yesterday. It's some Spanish speaking singer.
Yeah, J Balvin. J Balvin
talking about his order.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it's J Balvin. It's my bad.
J Balvin, man.
I don't know actors. I don't know artists like that, to be fair.
Yeah. be glad, because now you're not seeing freaking McDonald's commercials pop up on your IG and stuff. So yeah, basically, do not saturate a market. So answer the question. Stop it. Just for like focus on different ways you can spin it if you have to do it, right? To talk about the Mandalorian. Why does the Mandalorian work? Because we're not talking about evil versus good again. We're talking about space westerns, adventure. Finding a mishmash of people who you're connected with and can call a weird family. That's what they went back to with Star Wars, right?
You brought a protractor?
With the Mandalorian. That's why it works.
Yeah.
Now, if they go back to evil Jedi versus Sith, we're all going to lose our shit and tune off. Because we can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with that.
We're done. That was the end. That was it. So.
I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
We're done.
If I see Palpatine one more time, I'm going to kill him myself. I'm going to enter the screen. Make sure he's dead this time.
Alright, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We done.
Bro, we done. We done with you, boy. We
hands
done. We done. Catch these hands. You're not ready for this. Yeah. So, basically, I think we've reached a consensus that, yes, the market is saturated. The end of the superhero should come close. Should come soon enough. Will it? I don't think it'll happen for another 2-3 years. But after that, I do think it'll end.
Yeah.
I think give it 5 years, there'll be 1, maybe 2 superhero films that come out every year.
Now feel free to give me more superhero video games.
Yes,
I'm not,
bro.
you
give me tons of them. Give me. You saw Arkham Knight.
So that's saturate that.
Yeah,
market.
saturate that market because that's not been saturated. There's other ways that you can do. You can still produce good content that they haven't done. You know what I mean?
I was about to say, like, come on. I think if Marvel, the cinematic universe, just decided they wanted to write the story for a game, and then have developers make those games.
And it ties into the MCU.
It would be so good.
And it ties into the MCU. Yeah, sure.
Why not? Why not? Let's do it.
Let's play as them. Yeah, let's find different ways we can do this because
different ways of storytelling is what we need. Yeah. We can't have the same.
We mentioned the 4. We mentioned the 4, and I think that works well. You know, I won't say them. Okay, we'll say them again. Kids. Legacy, spin-offs, so different perspectives, different, side stories, and diversity,
mediums,
representation, and mediums. So 5 new ways. So you can focus on one of these 5 ways, but don't really do the same thing you did again because it's not going to work. It won't work. Yeah. It just won't work to the same effect. It's the thing about it's called it's in economics, right? It's the saturation thing, the saturation model. So so the example is if you have 1 Coke, if you have 1 soda, or if you have 1 beer, or if you have 1 coffee, the first one is so good, right? And so much so that you may want another one. But the second one, no matter how good it is, it might even be better coffee, it might be a better soda, it might be a better beer. But it doesn't taste as good as the first one. It's not as refreshing. The third one, you're kind of getting. I can't finish this. The fourth one, you're not even drinking. you're spitting it out. You're spitting it out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're like, it's sour now.
That's what we're talking about here. Don't do that. Don't give me a bad taste in my mouth with my superhero.
I'm already feeling it.
I'm already starting to get there, and I don't like it.
Yeah. But superhero video games, my God. Hurry up, guys. You saw the Suicide Squad that they're coming out? The Suicide Squad, Arkham Knights? Arkham Knights, the game? Bro,
Gotham Knights.
Knights, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. This is something we can talk about later, but I saw gameplay for that game, and I feel like it's going to be DC's attempt at doing the Marvel game. I didn't like the way that they did the Marvel game.
DC, okay, so you know what's weird? Marvel, you know what's funny is that DC... People think that everyone's picking Marvel over DC, but if you think about it, all Marvel has is movies, okay? Because DC has the lock on TV, because Marvel tried TV and has failed multiple times. DC has its Arrowverse. DC has some good films every now and then. DC
has great cartoons.
Yeah, great. Okay, so they have the animated, because Marvel has struggled at ever making adult animated stuff, or teen at least. DC has also the lock on video games because Arkham Knight series. Marvel made a good Spider-Man game.
Yeah, but it's basically the entirety of the Arkham series.
Yeah.
Against Spider-Man.
Yeah, like one game. And then DC also has pretty good. I know they have another video game series too, right? Don't they? They have Suicide Squad that's coming out. A few more other DC games that I'm probably missing that I didn't mention.
They have
Injustice.
Injustice game coming out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Suicide Squad game and Injustice. I forgot about Injustice the game. So they have that series too.
Oh yeah, the Injustice games, which are fantastic.
DC has a lock on all the other forms of storytelling, whereas Marvel has the lock on film. So when people are actually comparing the two, DC probably may have a stronger case.
You're comparing to,
to where if you were like, oh, you only can consume Marvel or you can only consume DC, you'll get bored quicker of Marvel than you will DC, which is weird to say.
Of the Marvel content, yeah.
Which is weird to say because Marvel has made such a cinematic revolution, right, with connected storytelling. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll end it there. But yes, they should end soon. They won't end soon enough. That's okay. But they will never end completely, and I don't want that to happen. I don't think anyone wants it to end completely. Just don't produce it at this rate, at this volume. Yeah. And I think it would be okay. Like, stop, even if they stop it for like 3-4 years and then start back up, that'll be enough of a break for people to be reinvested in this. But yeah, anyway, I guess it's a good conclusion to our episode 8, finally episode 8 of the Beskar Briefing. Should the superhero universe end? Yes, for a little while. Will they? No, not quick enough. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. I think everyone's kind of feeling the same way, just oversaturated. But it's not a bad thing. But it is a problem, a good problem, but problem nonetheless. Anyway, I've been Vishnu Prasad Rao.
I've been Bradley Ford.
And this is the way. Thank you, guys.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.